Good morning, children. It is December the 13th, Sunday, fun day, yay. Continuing on our journey of faith and hope. There's always hope. On the 13th, today's dreams become tomorrow's realities. Do not belittle the practical dreamer, for he or she is the forerunner of civilization. Well, there you go. Amen, brother. At a recent meeting of science fiction writers, the assembled authors wrestled with a particularly interesting problem. For years, it was commonly understood that a good sci-fi writer imagined things that might actually be possible in about 30 years. The problem is that technology is advancing so rapidly that even the most imaginative of the authors found themselves falling far short of the reality that is possible in today's world. When you reflect upon the possibilities in your business or your area of expertise, allow time for blue sky, little quotes, thinking. What might be possible if the factors that currently constrain advancement were eliminated? What trends are likely to affect your business or the way your customers think? What must you do to stay in the forefront of your profession? In your answers, you may find tomorrow's innovations. Wow, that's gold right there. So, some of you were questioning. I know, those of you living in your mom's basement in Iowa were like, what the hell? He's talking all religion and everything, and I'm not religious, but that's why we read, guys, because of paragraphs like that. Like I just laid it all out for you. I talked about Yellowbird before, Yellowbird Connect, which is a real estate meetup event group, whatever you want to call it, in Jacksonville, Florida, run by a couple of guys named Kyle Paskowitz, and yes, that's his real name, and Pat Flynn. And I told you how awesome it was, and how they're giving back and all that stuff. I've covered all that before. Go back and watch the videos if you haven't seen it. They're two great guys doing great things in Jacksonville, Florida. The first Yellowbird meeting I went to, because I had ties to another real estate investor group, which I've also talked about, and the little old lady who was using it as a retirement plan, taking $50,000 a year out of the not-profit organization. It was profitable for her. So we scrapped, as you can imagine. Yeah, that's right. Big old Greg the Bully took on a little old lady, but she was nasty, trust me. She was a little battle axe warthog. Anyway, and she's still there. I'm not, so that tells you who won that battle, right? Although I don't imagine they're doing much business with the whole COVID thing. That really crippled a lot of REI groups, real estate investment groups. So, but I guarantee you, she's still taking the money, because it was never about the education for her. It was never about how well she'll kill the association before she'd give up that money. She's all about the money. That's why we scrapped. Anyhow, it took me 2 or 3 months to get over to the Yellowbird thing, even though I had wanted to. And their speaker, for free this was, so you just showed up, and it was in a really nice venue, much nicer than the other RIA group. Had food out and everything. All that was on Kyle's dime, because he understands about giving back. And if you're not in a position to give anything, I get that you don't understand it yet. But you got to be like my guy Chris Barnes, as soon as you reach that level and you're capable of giving back, you do. And that's what Chris has done. Chris was like you. He was working 2 jobs as a cook, 2 years ago. And now he's on his way to doing 10 deals a month. So you can do it too. They tend to, stop Chris. Nothing stopped Chris, because Chris wouldn't let anything stop him, right? You can do the same thing. So the speaker at that first event that I got to was a think tank guy. Now, if you don't know what a think tank is, it's you're so frigging smart, you got hired by a company to think. Straight up. It happens. It's out there. There's a shitload of them in Washington, right? Because influence peddlers, and they come up with strategies and things. A lot of people with a lot of money pay thinkers to think, to sit around all day and think. So this guy from a think tank, and I don't know how Kyle knew him or got him, but that's Kyle, he got him to come and talk at the Yellowbird. And he talked exactly, this was April of 2019. So well over a year ago, almost 2 years ago now, was my first Yellowbird event. And that's it. That's exactly what that guy was talking about, is think about technology today, cell phones and what cell phones can do, right? Like when I grew up, we had one of those old rotary, literally the they had like a dial on it, and you had to dial each number and wait for it to go back. And we had one phone, it was a rotary phone, and it was on the kitchen wall, and that was it. If any member of the family wanted to use the phone, or if the phone rang, we'd have to go to the kitchen and pick up the phone and answer it, right? So that device today, my phone, is not only not tied to a landline, but I'm talking to you on it, and I'm going to hit a few buttons and it's going to post it to the internet, and people all over the world will be able to watch this video I'm making on my phone. Crazy if you think about it, even from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So the technology is amazing. It's advancing all the time. There's more and more and more we can do with our phones. Well, what this guy talked about, the think tank guy, what they had been working on is what's the new emerging technology that's going to impact businesses across the board. And that was a couple of them. Number one, the electric car. He was really big on the electric car. He feels like all the manufacturers will be electric by like 2030. That's only 9 to 10 years away at this point. Nine really, it's December, so 9 years away, where the majority of cars on the road will be electric. So realizing that fact, understanding that technology is coming, because especially if the liberals win, the Democrats, they're going to be pushing green agenda. So yeah, I mean, it's very possible they pass laws that within 4 to 6 years, Ford, Chevy, and Chrysler, Dodge, the other one, the Mopar, all have to have mostly electric cars, or you have to pay penalties. Remember I said they fine people 500 baht or 1500 baht, whatever, for not wearing a mask? Money is the universal language everybody understands. So the government controls people, even though they're supposed to be elected by us. That's a joke. They control us. So they get in power, they make a lot of money for themselves by greed and corruption, and then they control us, and they get off on controlling us. So they're going to force electric cars down our throat. And some of you are going, yay, those bad pollution. Okay, cool, whatever. You're about to get your way. Once again, always remember who pays for it. Who pays for all that shit? Well, eventually it's going to be you, and you're not going to like it, but that's neither here nor there. So knowing the electric car is coming, how does that impact you? Like, I wouldn't buy a gas station right now, right? Because gas stations used to be 10 times earnings. I mean, they were big businesses when I sold businesses. I had one under contract for $1.4 million. I mean, back in the day, this was when I was still married. So that, they were a big business, and especially if you had what they call a C-store, convenience store, 30% of your revenue came from the C-store. People going in buying lottery tickets, cigarettes, beer, soda, hot dogs, whatever. So, and you see the companies that understand that, like Gate gas station in Jacksonville, which was a local gas station. They were huge because they had big C-stores. And I ate lunch at Gate gas station more times than I could tell you, because they expanded that. They got it to the point that before I left, in the 3 years before I left, they had full delis, like you would have in a supermarket, or back they used to have a neighborhood deli. They had neighborhood delis in C-stores where you can order a sandwich with fresh meats and fresh bread, baked on premises and all that. You go up to the little kiosk and push a button and tell them what you want on your sandwich, and they have a couple of workers working there. So gas stations grew a lot, in the last 10 years by expanding the C-store, which was their area of profitability. So getting back to the think tank guy and what Napoleon said today is exactly what he was doing. He was looking ahead and saying, okay, I see electric cars coming. And so, what decisions can you make in your business, being real estate for most of the people there, what things will be impacted by electric cars. So think on that for, ruminate on it for a little bit, let it jiggle around inside that pinball machine that's your brain, and make some decisions for your future based on that. We talked about business plan, long-term plan, your long-term plan should include technology and what's changing in technology and how that's going to affect. Yeah, I'm sweating. 68 degrees and I'm sweating, but I went to the gym this morning. I was bumping uglies, and there's a lot of ways to say that. Horizontal bob, blah, 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 having sex, but I say bumping uglies because ugly. So whenever I bump uglies, go to the gym. Even after I take a shower, which I do immediately after that, I'm still hot for 20, 30 minutes. So even though it's a mild, balmy 68 degrees today, perfect weather, I'm still sweating like a pig. Anywho, the second technology that he foresaw having an impact on commercial factors is 3D printing. So that's out there. Most people don't even know it exists, which is crazy. But it's out there and it's on a small scale. Right now they're making nuts, bolts, whatever. I know in guitars, I've been researching lutherie and guitar building lately. They got CNC machines, computer-controlled machines that cut out the bodies. But pretty soon all the parts to it, the little knobs and potentiometers and all that stuff, everything will be assembled from a 3D printer. And so what he said is the big box stores, Lowe's and Home Depot, in the future will just be a guy with a 3D printer, and you'll check off what you want, and probably on a kiosk, like ordering the sandwiches like I talked about at the gas station, the C-store. You go up to a kiosk and say, I need 100 screws with these dimensions, and I need a bracket, an L bracket to hold up a shelf, this size, this color, I need this, I need that. You give the guy your order, or just hit order on the kiosk, more likely everything will be computerized, and it will print on a giant printer. And it'll be, instead of printing on a piece of paper with laser jet, it will be printing metal, carving out metal like a CNC. If you combine a laser printer and a CNC machine, if you know what those are, like I said, right now they carve out guitar bodies in China. That's how they make them so cheap. So I got a $20 guitar body, which I did a video for my other channel, G Nasty. Long story, but that's my guitar channel. And fucking YouTube deleted it because I put it up there not public, so I could take it down and after I got some editing software onto my laptop and massage it. So it was like a 19-minute video. They freaking deleted it. They're such cocksuckers. Anyway, this is the body. This is from China. It's a Stratocaster body. This is called a swimming pool route for obvious reasons. It looks like a swimming pool, and what that lets you do is put any combination of pickups you want in there. Most of these come carved out with like a humbucker, single coil humbucker, and then you're forced to use that part, or 3 single coils is your normal Strat route. Here I can use 3 humbuckers, I can use 1 humbucker, a single and a humbucker. I can use any combination I can come up with. So I like that flexibility. That's why I got this route. And this was all cut out on a CNC machine. That's how they can mass produce them like this up in China, cheap. It was $22 for this body, whereas any decent body in America is going to cost you $60. Or you can go to Warmoth, WARMOTH, which is a company up in Washington that makes amazing, high quality, super high grade wood. And there you're talking $200 for just a body, not the whole guitar, just the body. Now you take a Warmoth body and a Warmoth neck, and you take some high-end parts, good pickups, good pots and all that, a really nice bridge. There's a bunch of, you can build a parts guitar, and people have, using Warmoth bodies and Warmoth necks. Or if you're doing like a Fender Strat or Fender Telecaster, there's plenty of Fender necks out there. You can get a really good made in Japan reissue of like a 62 Strat neck, reasonable price, and step that on a Warmoth body, and I mean, you've got a guitar that's better than the stuff they made in the Fender factories in the 60s. Tone-wise, beauty-wise, specs-wise, anything that's mass-produced, you can build a one-off and make it nicer. So CNC machine, just picture a giant machine that takes a bit and goes like and routes out all that guitar. And then next they put another blank in and that way the Chinese can crank out these things and charge $20, $22 and make a profit. All right. So take that CNC machine and in your head and multiply it with a printer where you just hit print and it'll print whatever you drew or typed or whatever. Put those two together, you've got 3D printers. They're out there, they're doing it now on a very small scale, but this guy was saying, you know, when you need a propeller for a plane, they're gonna, eventually that's gonna be printed on a 3D printer, right? So everything's going that direction. So obviously the footprint is going to be reduced of a Lowe's or a Home Depot. It's going to be a much smaller store when all they need is 3D printer and ordering kiosks. So, wow, right? I mean, now you know why I absolutely fell in love with Yellowbird, because after 20 years in the real estate business, I went to my first meetup group of a new group that had been out 2-3 months at that point, and it challenged me to think, and it was thought-provoking, and you know, it gave me some insight to change my business and how I think about things in the future. Wow, 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 wow. You know, basically Kyle and Pat knocked it out of the park. I mean, having a speaker like that, who does that? Nobody in Jacksonville at that time. So Yellowbird, that's who. And I became a major fan. I became a ambassador, Yellowbird ambassador. And we broke out into tables later on in the year groups, and we would each of the ambassadors would take a subject and talk about it, beginning in real estate, should you get a license or not, whatever. So, because I was a believer, man. I was not only drinking the Kool-Aid, I was in the middle of the vat stirring it, because these guys were dynamite. They were putting out amazing information, and when you put out a high quality product like that, like they were doing, everybody who was anybody came. So guys who had long given up on that other RIA with the little old lady, it was just the same old tire scene, and the veterans weren't really getting anything from it. They all showed up to Yellowbird. So now you had 300 investors, roofers, plumbers, electricians, insurance people, mortgage people, private lenders. I mean, everybody who had anything to do with real estate in Jacksonville, the movers and the shakers, all showed up to Yellowbird. So now, for the newbies, there was tremendous value. That was the only place to go in Jacksonville, was the Yellowbird. Now, at that time, I took over because a lady was sick. She had some health issues. She had been running a real estate investment group for 4 years, and I took that over simply because she was sick. So what I started doing was focusing on baby steps, like on real estate investing 101, because when Yellowbird had this big powerful thing, and if you were intermediate or advanced, that's where you needed to be, and if you were beginning, that's where you go to ask questions. But I felt like people who were brand new and just starting out and had never done a deal, they needed to go to kindergarten and first grade before they could go to college, right? Yellowbird was college. So I wanted to create grammar school, or whatever you call, grades 1 through 8, right, for RIA, and that's what I did. We did a series of panels. We started the wholesaling, which is how you hustle and make money, and then flipping, and then landlording, including Airbnb, which is a big topic back then. I guess it still is. And then my last panel before I left was millionaires. We had 4 millionaires, including Kyle was one of them, who had made over $1 million in real estate, how they did it, and then what they're doing with their money now. Once again, trying to get people thinking. You know, Yellowbird inspired me to try to get people thinking and feel like they got a lot of value out of the REIF group. And after I moved to Thailand, I gave it over to Dom and G from Cash Geeks, because they're very active. They're also, so that was a labor of love. You had to subsidize that, you know, the hotel and everything, the venue. I was paying for it out of my own pocket, so I needed somebody who was successful in real estate who didn't mind pumping money into that educational platform without making any money back. I mean, there was memberships for $99, but I didn't push it. I didn't sell it. I didn't get a one. I never mentioned it one time. People didn't even know that there was a membership, because that wasn't my goal. I wanted to teach and train. So we're at the 20-minute mark. That's enough. And YouTube will probably start deleting videos from this channel too, because I really suck. But Yeah, that's it for today. But God, guys, I mean, go back and listen to the beginning of this video, rewind, write it down, buy the book if you can find it used on Amazon for a couple of bucks or any other bookseller, because Amazon is really kind of snaky too. YouTube, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft. It's disgusting, really. Those guys are so fucking greedy. And, you know, we're reached this new age where Trump and his minions were evil and conservative and greedy, right? But nobody's holding to account Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, you know, George Soros. The billionaire class seems to have escaped scrutiny. Bernie Sanders came out and said there should be a redistribution of wealth, and that's the last you heard of him. He's not even going to be on the cabinet now, right? Don't touch the billionaires, because they run shit, guys. They run shit. That's what you don't understand. It's like two kids playing in the backyard. They both go to their parents for money. You know, their parents are the billionaires. They're the elite. They're the ruling class. So it is what it is. Makes me sad. But that's how you get to the next level up. Don't worry about the billionaires. You got to focus on you. And if you're at level 1, you got to get to level 2. If you're at level 2, you got to get to level 3. Not because you want to have a big bank account to feel good about yourself. It's because you want financial independence. You want to be able to make decisions and do things and without having money limit you, right? All right, guys. So we'll call it quits for today. I'll see you again tomorrow. Oh, 180. Yeah, I meant to say, I looked up to see when I upload it what number this is. This is 180. So I've been at this 6 months. And without tooting my own horn, that's why I succeeded in real estate in America, because I made a promise to you guys 6 months ago that I would do this every day. And I have made one of these videos every single day. So do what you say what you do. That goes a long way towards reaching your goals. Love y'all. Bye-bye.